Hello, this is again Dr. Shefali Sonane from Walchand College of Engineering, Sangli, India. I would like to discuss or extend the earlier tutorial based on the mathematical induction and its application. In the part 2, I would like to extend the application over language problems, the problems which are defined over certain symbols which will form certain strings, and we need to have, say, applications of those and few examples I tried to cover in this tutorial. I have taken the reference of the book by John Martin, Introduction to Languages and the Theory of Computation. So definitely I would like to have acknowledgement of the book and the author. With this, I would like to continue further with the first example. That example says that I want to go for a language of all possible words. So when the language is there, I used here the set of the words where the word is having the form of 0, y, 1, where I expect that the substring x and y are generated over the input set of symbols 0, 1, and its repeated use is there. Repeated usage will form the null string also and the further strings also. So I have to declare that if the string is having the form 0, y1, then I have to claim that the x string should contain substring 0, 1. For indication of the substring, I may use the quotation or even not the quotation, but the meaning is the same. So in that case, how should I go for the application of the mathematical induction? First of all, I need to find out the base condition. And the base condition P of 2, that is the predicate 2, when I try to find it out, I mean to say that I want to go for a string x whose length, word length is equal to 2, because I want to go for the criteria string starts with 0 and ends with 1. So for such cases, I need to have the minimum size of the string as the 2, where I can represent x in the form 0, y, 1, and in between y can be taken up as the null. We can find it out here. When the null is there, after having the concatenation of the string or the removal of the null, the string becomes as the 0, 1 again. So in that case, I can claim that with the minimum size, which is size 2, I can say that the string x is of the form of 0, y, 1, where y is null in such case, is containing substring 0, 1. So for base condition, it is true. If we move further for the hypothesis, we have to have certain induction over elements. So the element k, which is the integer and which is always greater than or equal to 2, because 2 is taken as the base condition. So we'll assume that the x whose size is equal to k here is also containing substring 0, 1. With this assumption, now what exactly we want to prove? We want to prove for the predicate involving k plus 1 integer. That means the size of the string whose length is k plus 1 we have to consider, and we have to prove that such a type of the string also contain the substring 0, 1. Anywhere in the string it should contain the substring 0, 1. So obviously, as our usual practice, we are starting the giving proof from the hypothesis itself. The hypothesis is defined for the kth step itself. We can say that since we are demanding for the x, which is the next step, which is the iterative step over your induction, whose size is k plus 1, is of the form of 0, y, 1 again. Okay. And now just dividing this x, which is of the form of 0, y, 1, into two cases. I can say that I can divide this in a way where I can declare, or I can just say that fine, whatever is the 0, y, 1, that 0, y, 1 can be given in a form, okay, 0, y, 1. If this is the format, in this format, either this particular may have a size of k, okay, you can just omit 0, or you can take this particular portion and you can omit 1 and the size is k here. Okay, so when I want to say that 0, y is the first condition, I would like to go for the first k discussion, and when I want to say that the y1 is the format, possibly I would like to move for the next case for the discussion purpose. So in that case, when I want to move, I can say that 0, y, 1 is the situation out of which 1 is taken aside of this one. So obviously 0, y, 1, if it is having the size of k plus 1, then only selection of the 0, y should have the size equal to k. Now whenever 0, y is having the size equal to k, the y is again the string over 0, 1. So ultimately it is composed of 0, 1 elements. So we can say that y either may end with 0 or may end with 1. What happens that whenever we are going to have the discussion for the 0y, okay, in a situation 0y, and as this y may end either 0 or by 1 also. You are having here the 0y which is having the size k and 1 is there. So in that case, if my y ends with 0, then definitely it is containing, okay, you can just add upon or you can have the concatenation of this one. So it is containing substring 0, 1. So instead, if I say that is the second situation is there, that my string, if the string y is ending with 1, then it is having the form of 0, y1 or y dash 1, where 0, y1 is the format and having the size k, okay, the string which already we declared in the hypothesis, and that hypothesis claims that this string also contains substring 0, 1. That means in the both the situations where y may end by 1 or y may end by 0, we can claim that the substring is containing 0, 1 as the, say, some part of the string itself. Moving further again, the same discussion I would like to have here. If y ends with 0, then x ends in the substring 0, 1. Okay, I have just removed the quotations or the say, indications of the meaning of your substring. And y ends with 1, then 0y begins with 0 and ends with 1. So in that case, as discussed in the hypothesis, it also contains substring 0, 1. So it goes for that whatever is the string x you are having may be of size x, k plus 1 is also containing substring 0, 1. As discussed earlier, I would like to go for the second case. So instead of the 0, y1, I would like to omit the first 0 and then I'll go for the y1 as the remaining part and let the string is of size k, because 0, y1 what we have considered is of size k plus 1. Now omitting 0 and with the remaining y1 string, we'll have a string size k here. In that case, my y either may start with 1 or may start with the 0. Both the cases are there. In the similar fashion, we have used earlier for the first case. Only in the case 1, we have taken y at the end and y may end by 0 or 1. Here, y at the initial position and y may start with 0 or may end with or may start with 1. So if y starts with 1 and actually the initial 0 we have omitted, okay, so then starting y and the initial 0, so it goes for the formation of the 0, 1, okay, and if it is beginning with 0, then 0, y1 of the having the size of the k, which is your hypothesis, is also containing the substring 0, 1. So if any of the case, maybe the case 1 or maybe the case 2, we can claim that the given string contains the substring 0, 1. Okay, so likewise, what we have done, we have either separated out the last element or we have separated out the initial element. In both the cases, x plus 1 by separation of the last element, okay, you can say that it is the case 1, and separation of the first element, it is the case 2. In any of the case, in any of the situation, it says that, it claims that, okay, my string should contain, or it is containing rather, the substring 0, 1. I would like to go for second example. Suppose I have say combination of AB for n times, and I have to prove that AB in a combination for n times is equal to the independent A for n times followed by B again for n times, and it should be true for every natural number where the range of the natural number is given for n is greater than or equal to 1. How to proceed for such type of the example? Again, I'll require some basis. Say for n is equal to greater than or is equal to 1, I need to go for the base condition P of 1. where the LHS is equal to AB, that means AB bracket raised to 1, and that should be equal to A raised to 1, B raised to 1, and which is equivalent to AB. So that is equal to your RHS. Hence, I can claim that the basis is proved. I'll go for the induction hypothesis where K, value K integer, I'll say that this is the exponent which is greater than or equal to your base condition, and in this case, the base condition is 1. So let AB group for K times is equal to A for K times and B for K times, and let that particular statement be true. That is the induction, or that is the hypothesis. So what exactly we want to prove? We want to prove for P statement involving K plus 1 as the value of N. What it means that we want to go for the group of AB for K plus 1 time, and that should be equal to your right hand side, that is A for K plus 1 times followed by B for K plus 1 times. So we are doing the same thing like always. We are starting from the hypothesis. The hypothesis says that AB group raised to K is equal to the individual A's for K times followed by B K times. So I can say that that can lead further that if both the sides of the equations, if I try to multiply by AB, for example, this is AB, and multiplied this left hand side by AB, so as right hand side by AB, because both the sides are getting multiplied by the same string, so I should maintain the equality. Maintaining the equality, I can say that the left hand side becomes as the raised to K plus 1, and the right hand side, which is the A raised to K, B raised to K multiplied by AB, I'll take the advantage of the multiplication and its commutative property. So just I try to rearrange the A's and the B's. So I can say that AAK multiplied by BBK, and that is nothing but it is going to have as the required equation, which is the ultimate requirement what we are expecting for the K plus 1 statement. So that is ultimately proving the requirement, and hence we can make a general statement that AB raised to N should be equal to for the independent power for the A to the N and B power to the N. So these are true for the natural numbers. So we have proved for the second example, which is the say extension of your numeric what you have involved to the say problem, to the language problem, and that language problem is very important. Okay, I would like to go for third example. How should I read the example? That I have here the language of all possible words X. These are described over A comma B with the repeated use. So obviously the input set is A comma B, where for the given string X, the number of A's in string X should be equal to the number of B's. And for this purpose, the generation of a language is given with some production. Of course, that production is the part of the grammar. That grammar is necessarily is the regular grammar. And that grammar says that S can have the form of ASB or BSA or AS or BA. So obviously, as per our convention, AB, BA, these are the leaf nodes. S is again the variable where it can have the formation of, that means we need to have the expansion of this particular language. How do we expand? How do we have the expansion of a language? So if I say that for the base condition, where the size of the string is again taken as the 2, okay? In this case, if I want to go for the generation of a language, how should I go for the generation? I can say that the derivation trees, what we are going for, S can have the form of AB, okay, which is the tree, which you can pick from the left to the right. So word is the first word, which is AB. And the second possible tree for this one is BA. So in that case, I need to again pick it up from the left to the right, and the second word is BA. So you can say that such type of the derivation trees are possible, and hence it is giving rather 2 words, and in both the words, the number of A's and the number of B's which are equal. Okay, with this equality, we need to move further. We'll have the hypothesis where again K, which is the size of your string, is greater than or equal to 2, because again the base condition is 2. Let X contains equal number of A's and B's. The occurrences are same. With this particular hypothesis, let we'll move to the next statement, that we have to have certain string whose size is k plus 1. And again, we have to claim that the string x should contain the equal number of a's and b's again. So suppose if we want to go for the expansion of a tree to the size k plus 1, how can we expand? The expansion, of course, will require the further application, because for the base condition we have taken, it is the ultimate expansion a, b or b. From there, there is no further room for the expansion. But perhaps if we select for the a as b or b as a, actually this is very simple example. Looking towards the productions, whatever are the a's, it should follow the number of b's, which is giving justice. The first production is giving justice to the string which is starting from a, where the second is giving justice to the starting from b. So how I am going to have the, say, particular value for the selection, according to that I may have a tree. Let a tree is there where I can start here, and I can say that the expansion is there. If my word should start from a as b, again that expansion is having here maybe b as a, okay. You may have the further expansions, and ultimately the final expansion where the tree is expected to stop, we can say that it will go for the, say, either AB or B. So in every case, whatever is the tree you are going for, you are just trying to pick it up, the elements from left to the right, and every time it is having the expansion, a number of A's or the number of B's are there, which are equal. So if in any kind, if you are going for the expansion of a tree, then possibly for the next level of your A, very next level of the previous, from the next level of your A, those levels are going to form equal number of A's and B. So we'll need to have the example, or rather the help of the derivation tree, rather some structures in the form of derivation tree be provided to that particular induction problem, where the tree terminates with the S, where the leaf nodes are there, and in that way, using some structural induction method, in any case, for any expansion level, we can satisfy that the given generation of the string is having equal number of occurrences of A and B. Okay, so this is the kind of the example, maybe slightly different with some providing some trees there, which is helpful rather, and this is the kind of your structural expansion. Okay, now I would like to go for one more example, that I have a string A star, B star, the bracket star goes for some forming equality to either null string or A which is starting by A and ending by B, and may have some any substring over A comma B in, say, in between as the part of. When I say A comma B, it's a part of your input set. When I say A plus B bracket star, which is the cleans operation, I mean to say that it is given in the regular expression. So how should I start? Okay, instead of going for the each and every individual statement here, I would like to say that for the base case where the size of your predicate or size of your string is 0, in that case, the particular loop can be called for no time. That means it is going to have the generation of a null. So string with a 0 as the size, it is going to give birth for the null as the string, which is the left hand side. And of course, at the right hand side, you are having exclusive null. So in both cases, it is going to have the satisfaction for the left hand side as well as for the right hand side. So base case is proved. For the kth step, okay, where the k is the integer value, which is again the size of your string, or possibly some attempts are there, which are greater than or equal to 0, because 0 is taken as the base case, where we can say that the left hand side is the string, where there is no star. Okay, at least now we are going for the next step rather than non-zero step. So that loop is called at least for one time. So within the loop, there is one A where no star expansion is given. That means the string is starting with A. So any combination of A's are there. So this star and this star is not having any relevance. So the first B, when the group of B star is taken out, it claims that at least one A should be there and at least one B should be there. So in that case, the string necessarily starts with A and ends with B. So in both the cases, the string in LHS, you can say that it starts with A and ends with B. And so as for your, say, right hand side, which is the OR condition for your expansion, which starts with A and ends with B. So I think for the kth step, the satisfaction is there with the description. Now for the next step, okay, when we need to move, we can say that A star, B star under bracket star should be equal to A star, B star, B bracket star. What I did that I have just rearranged the terms which are given in the red color. B star is nothing but a B star B. We should be agreed for this one. So we can say that A star, B star, B, okay, whatever the equation or whatever the rearranged term you have taken, that can be taken out where the A and the B, which are the necessary part for the next loop other than zeroth loop, you can say that it starts with A and ends with B. So in between A star, B star, bracket raised to star, as it comes out ultimately as the A or B bracket star. So this is actually the proof where I can say that whatever the string A, B is there, which are the end elements, the in-between string can be considered as the Y. So if any string, what we expect, should always start with A, in-between string is there in the form of Y and again ends with B. So that is the idea for any case of the expansion for calling the same loop again for the next iteration using the cleans operation. I can say that for the K plus 1 step, okay, again the equality is maintained. So with this particular thing, I think I should thank you all for having some learning of the language problems. If we want to have any discussion further, possibly my say email addresses are given, and with those email addresses, possibly we can have further discussions. By this time, thank you. Thanks a lot.